So you manage an alcoholic beverage brand and you're not particularly sure how to navigate video marketing. This video is for you. Let's talk. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of videos that you can be creating for your alcoholic beverage brand, let's get into the legal aspects of things. First, you must ask yourself, what are the compliance laws that apply to your region? Yes, there are compliance laws, especially when it comes to alcoholic beverage drinks. So things like age rating, platform rules, e.g. time of broadcast of alcohol, also mandatory messaging that must be at the end, and also not glamorizing alcohol usage. So all of these apply to different regions. So when you get into a new region, you need to understand the compliance laws. Get familiar with them so you don't make the mistake and run into trouble with your brand. The next thing is for you to understand and try to learn the trends that are going on, what other brands are doing essentially. Are they doing recipe videos? Are they doing event highlight videos? What are they doing? Learn the trends, see what is working for them, so you can also understand how the consumer behavior works in that region. So especially if you are targeting a particular age segment. The next thing is what's your sales pipeline like? Or your sales funnel? How do you engage them? How do you convert them to a sale? So get familiar with your sales pipeline. So this will also guide the kind of videos you can make as an alcoholic beverage brand. But first things first, let's talk about your official media assets. What do you even have on ground to start with? In a previous video where I talked about hospitality businesses, we talked about official media assets. These are very important in today's world of content marketing, especially with social media all over the place. You need visual material that your social media team can constantly borrow from and use to create new content. So we're going to talk about how to create your media bank. I'm sure by now you probably have figured out how to sort out your photography assets, which is your back shots and things like that. But let's talk about how to curate or create a media bank of video assets. The first will be obviously product shots, which is essentially beauty shots of your products. If you use bottles, if you use cans, if you use PET bottles, if you use Tetra packs, whatever it is you use for your products, you need to create beauty shots. So the standard will be beauty shots, stage them, use props, make it beautiful. So give you a few instances. If you have like a liquor brand, a very popular technique will be to have the bottle, have the glass with the product in it, and have other props, for instance. So if your brand is one of those that are a good mixer, have stuff that can be used to make a cocktail surround the glass, or have them in the glass itself, just to create something that adds a little bit more color. Especially if your brand has a transparent look, there's not a lot you can do to the brand itself. So you need all of those props to add color to that pack shot. So add motion elements. Another technique will be the use of dry ice. If you don't have access to dry ice, you can use smoke. So there's a bit of motion to that pack shot, or that product shot. So that alone is a good social media post. You can use smoke, you can even use some small pyro to just add. If your product is like a fairy brand, you can add a bit of pyro to the background to just add that complexity and visual appeal to it. So in terms of product shots, another thing you can do is slow-mo pouring or slow motion pouring shot. I think this applies to every single beverage brand, whether it's alcoholic or not. Slow-mo shots, either from the bottle into a glass, from the bottle into a cup, whatever it is, that is the ideal way to consume your product. A slow motion shot, you can never go wrong with that. That just increases the visual appeal, and if you have the right production team to properly light it up, because you can't get a good slow mo shot without very good lighting. Key tip, ensure that you use a lot of soft lights, use a lot of nice reflections, because those reflections actually add form to the liquid that is pouring into whatever container you're pouring it into. That is for product shots. So those are the assets that you can have, keep in the bank. Your social media team can always reuse them to create more content. So the next will be contextual shots. So what this means is you're going to be creating, scenarios of different customer segments of your brand and different scenarios in which they consume your brand. So creating a lot of short clips. A lot of brands are actually doing this, especially multinationals. They call it OVC, or online video content, instead of big budget TVC. So they create a lot of these OVC materials that can be used on, especially for social media. Like I mentioned, different customer segments and different scenarios in which your different customer segments can consume your brand. I'll give you a bit more context to it. Different customer segments. If your brand is a youthful brand, for instance, you're going to have student avatar, you're going to have a young working class avatar, different customer segments, and in different scenarios, you have like chill day at home, in the restaurants, customer segments on a date. You could have in the party scene, things like that. So just create those different customer segments in different scenarios, have them in your bank. So the beautiful thing about creating this kind of assets, especially if you are shooting or creating the videos in 4K, which should be mandatory in today's world, is you can easily create still images from these high resolution videos and use them for your social media posts. Quick tip. So when you're commissioning your production team or production company, ensure they deliver all of these materials in 4K. So your social media team can create frame grabs from them and use as still images for your social media posts. Yeah, quick tip. So now we're going to move on to the actual different types of videos you can create for your alcoholic beverage brand. And we're going to treat them according to different stages of your funnel. What I've done is I've categorized your sales funnel into different stages, which is the top, the medium, and the bottom of the sales funnel, where the top is the initial interaction with your potential customer. Middle is the engagement of this customer segment, and the bottom is at the point of actual sale. So I'll be giving you different types of videos you can create for these different stages. For the top stage of your sales funnel, you're going to be talking about things like your factory tour or your distillery tour or your brewery tour. So you take the customer on the viewer on the journey into what your facility is like. So this is a very this can be a very important video asset because especially in today's world where we have a lot of adulterated drinks or adulterated alcoholic beverages. So this helps to build that trust with your customer that, okay, you have your quality control in check. If they see your factory, see how things are done in a hygienic manner, it just helps to build that trust. If you've not done this, I think you should consider, doing this tour of your facility. Another kind of video that is also critical to the top of the funnel for an alcoholic beverage brand is mini interviews of your senior management team. It could be the founders, it could be the master brewer in terms of beer brands, it could be the master distiller, where they showcase the passion that goes into creating of your product. It's very important that you communicate this and you communicate that the actual humans that are running the affairs of this organization do it with passion, do it with professionalism, and there's a vision that drives all of this. It helps to build that customer loyalty. So we'll move on to the middle of the funnel. And here at this stage of the funnel, the kind of videos you should be creating for your alcoholic beverage brand will be things like the details of your process, of your manufacturing process, how the ingredients are sourced and added, so people can see what makes your product unique. There are all sorts of alcoholic beverage brands today, but how does yours stand out from the product standpoint? So how does the flavoring get into the product? If you are a premium liquor brand that does some aging, how does that aging occur? We see different brands today, especially whiskey brands today, that say they are 12, 15, 18 years, and even 21 years aged. You can walk your audience through the process of aging, which is critical, which shows not just the craftsmanship but the passion that goes into creating that bottle of your product. So if you check international premium brands, they are proud of especially this aging process, and they like to showcase it. It's part of their communication, it's part of their visuals. Another kind of video that you can use at the middle of the funnel stage is customer reviews. You can just have people talk about the brand. An easy way to do this is if you're doing like a product launch or a product activation, you can have your event team have videographers around to do like vox pop style images during the event. Let people to share their genuine opinion about the product, how it tastes like, how it feels like. These are videos that you can create during such events. But mind you, remember that you need to cover all the legal aspects of those kind of images. If you can't get them to sign release forms, you can have like notices at different strategic areas of the event venue saying that you're likely to be captured or filmed during the event. So that covers you legally as a brand. Another thing you could do at this stage of the funnel is bartender collaborations. Today we have bartenders that are somewhat celebrities. That could also spiral into recipe videos in case you have a brand that is a good mixer in creating things like cocktails. Finally, another kind of video that you can create for the middle of the funnel would be event sponsorship videos. So what I mean by that is, obviously, alcoholic beverage brands are one of the most active sponsors and partners when it comes to events. Events, I mean by, film premieres, concerts, things like that. You always see alcoholic beverage brands as sponsors. And so what you could do is ensure that your event team gets a competent videographer or a video production team to cover the event. You don't need minute by minute coverage of the event. You don't need that. Nobody watches that these days. That's the truth. So you need people that can create very engaging event highlight videos, 1 minute or less of the entire event. Just capture the key moments of the event, capture the bartenders mixing, capture people consuming the brand, capture likely a celebrity is actually consuming the brands. That's key. That content can prove to generate a lot of buzz and create a lot of engagement for your brand. Now, the bottom of the funnel, where you need your customers to take action. So it's essentially a lot of videos that must have call to action. So the kind of videos that you be creating here will be things like consumer promos, which is very popular in this part of the world. When brands talk about look under the ground, you see a code, text a code to this, It's all part of the consumer promos. You can craft your consumer promos this is usually for more established brands, because there's a lot of legalities that comes with consumer promos, because there's a lot of consumer protection bodies you have to deal with. You can also create, discount videos if you're offering some sort of bulk discounts or discounts for your product. And this can usually be tied to seasons or holidays. You can have Christmas promos, you can have Easter promos, things like that. Another kind of video will be the announcement of a new distributor or new point of purchase for your brand. So for instance, you could be a new partner with drinks platforms like drinks.ng. So you could create video content that announces that you're now available on this platform. So people can immediately convert, because you can just put the link to the store on this platform or to the actual product page of this platform. So once they click on your advert, they go straight to that page and they can make a purchase immediately. So remember, at the bottom of the sales funnel, the key thing is your CTA or your call to action needs to be very clearly spelled out. Whatever it is you need your audience to do, you must spell it out. Do you want them to click to buy? You want them to reserve their number of bottles or whatever? Make it very clear. Tell them what to do, because don't assume that they know what to do. I would like to hear from all of you. What have been your experiences as brand custodian of an alcoholic beverage. What have been your experiences? How have you fared in creating videos and marketing videos? Have they worked for you? Or how have they worked for you? If they've not worked at all, share your experiences, ask questions, and I'll be available to answer all your questions in the comment section below. Remember, my name is Soji Ogunnaike, and I'm a producer, director, editor, video marketing expert, and my social media handles are Soji Oguns on all social media platforms.